The anime kicks off with Haruko giving my guy Takeru a good ol' smack after he accidentally catches a glimpse of her cocoa melons while she's changing. Inaho rushes over to comfort him with some cuddles and squishes. Kodama joins the party too, but my dude lands himself in hot water again after another accidental peek at some undergarments. They make their way to the academy where the principal, who's rocking one of the largest melons in the show, oversees Takeru's tardy entrance. Things take a wild turn when someone's nude photos pop up at school, sparking an investigation by Takeru and his pals. They uncover that a mysterious creature is causing chaos, revealing more victims, including two other girls whose undergarment makes an unexpected appearance. During a meeting with the president, it's confirmed that our undergarment pilferer is indeed a male student, leading to beefed-up dressing room security. As Takeru and his buddy patrol campus grounds like undergarment detectives on duty, they stumble upon more stolen goods, this time belonging to their math teacher. Sherlock Holmes here deduces that our thief targets based on bra sizes which seem to be increasing faster than inflation rates. He figures out that next up is an H-cup girl. Both Kodama and another chick volunteer as tribute. The spotlight then shifts dramatically onto Minori, the principal flaunting I-cup assets, and ultimately lands on none other than the school doctor herself, who boasts an impressive K-cup size, truly reigning supreme as the king of cups. Haruko and Cha-Cha-san realize it's their turn and decide to bait the undergarment thief themselves. The rest of the crew hides, ready to catch the criminal. Outside, my boy and Usui are on lookout. Suddenly, someone tosses an adultery comic, and of course, dumb Usui gets distracted and leaves. Meanwhile, Haruko and Cha-Cha rock some spicy cosplay to trap the thief. Out of nowhere, something creepy crawls out from the changing room vent. The two witches freeze as the thing morphs into a weird kid with a Pinocchio nose. He hypnotizes them instantly. That's when Usui barges in, and the kid vanishes. Turns out the undergarment thief had shapeshifted into Usui to sneak in and gets the girls to strip without hesitation. While Usui's off doing unholy solo activities, my boy realizes something's off. Back in the changing room, the girls are taking off their undergarments, heading into some wild territory. My boy rushes in with a nosebleed fountain spraying. The goon ropes him up and even tries recruiting him into the pervy squad. Without wasting time, the goon lunges for the goods. But my boy breaks free and in true Chad fashion, slams the goon so hard the whole damn building is blown. With Haruko safe in his arms, she wakes up, only to see her weapons of mass destruction fully on display. Furious, she slaps my boy, whips out her longsword, and charges. Meanwhile, the other chick's still off in hypnotized ecstasy. It's time for another episode, and this time, there's this wild girl who's got some seriously huge assets that make it impossible for her zipper to keep things under control. Her Maken powers are crazy. She can whip up mini blizzards that not only shred clothes but also knock people out cold. As she struts around the academy, Haruko tries to take her down with her big sword, but she totally misses. My buddy shows up too, and just when Haruko's about to unleash her powers, the witch hits her with a blast that tears her clothes off. My boy, totally naked, tries to charge in, but gets roasted for, let's just say, not having much to show. Just when the witch is about to go for him, Haruko jumps in to save him but gets captured instead. With a snap of her fingers, Haruko loses her memories and Maken powers just like that. Haruko can't remember anything, but out of nowhere, she asks my boy to marry her, thinking he's seen her assets. Everyone's shocked. Then Inaho drops the bomb. My boy is actually her fiancé, but she's cool with Haruko being his girlfriend too. Meanwhile, Cha-Cha-san and Azuki are off trying to find the culprit to help Haruko get her memories back, not realizing everything's already getting out of hand. Haruko shows up while my boy's in the bath, saying she's there to wash his back, but ends up using her melons instead of her hands. Kodama tries to step in, but Inaho jumps in, ready to wash him from the front. Later on, my boy shows Haruko some old childhood pics. She gets all flustered and feels super touched, realizing she's fallen for him all over again, even without her memories. That night, they end up sleeping next to each other. He wakes up to a face full of soft milkers and a kiss mark on his neck. Meanwhile, Usui and Azuki hear something weird. At the academy, my boy skips class since he's stuck alone with Haruko in a storehouse. Just then, they catch the culprit licking Haruko's sword. Azuki bursts in, but the blizzard attack rips her clothes off. She doesn't even bat an eye and just punches the freak out cold. Usui starts taking pics of naked Azuki for his own reasons. The president and her sidekick show up. Meanwhile, Haruko takes off her clothes and asks my boy to help her feel complete. Things get heated really quickly. Just as Haruko and my boy are about to get it on with some kisses, the culprit breaks down and gives in. Haruko suddenly remembers everything. Realizing what's going on, she pulls back, completely nude, and hits my boy with a massive blast, blowing up the academy again. This anime has everything: explosions, nosebleeds, and plot with a capital P. Hit subscribe before your waifu finds out you've been watching without her. In this episode, we get introduced to Inaho's adopted cat, Manji. As everyone heads to the academy, Manji decides to tag along. Once they get there, the students are all busy working on their papers. Manji starts feeling a bit bored, and Usui jokes that Kitty is lucky to get all the love without having to lift a finger. Then, Kitty shows off her powers, and suddenly, all the students in the office are affected. Out of nowhere, the girls start transforming into kittens, sprouting tails and ears. This totally blows the minds of my boy and Usui as they witness real-life cat girls. Not only do the girls look like kittens, but they also start acting just like them. Manji ends up causing a wild scene after he thinks he hears the gang calling for help. Before long, the whole school gathers to watch the girls act like cats, even trying to catch fish and flaunting their feline traits. Kodama stays in character but can't resist joining the fun. Later that night, Inaho and my boy head to the park, where Inaho says that a full moon brings out cats in heat, which means it's breeding season. The next day, my boy and Usui check in on the transformed students. Inaho and Haruko come by and start snuggling with my boy. Then Usui decides to strip and makes a move on Haruko, but she just brushes him off and takes off her undergarment because of the heat, heading straight for my boy. Things are definitely getting weird. Meanwhile, the president and her friend are bickering over a guy to mate with, and Dr. Aki is stepping in, telling the guy he should make a move. So, as my boy is hanging out with the cat girls, he takes a step back and splashes some water on Haruko. The cold water actually helps them snap back to reality a bit. He realizes he has to find Manji to sort everything out, so him and Inaho take off looking for him. At the academy, things are getting worse with all the kitten girls craving attention. They hit up Manji's favorite spot and get lucky by finding him there, but they still have no clue how to turn the students back to normal. My boy tries to grab Manji, but he ends up getting scratched on the face. Then Inaho shows some kindness to Manji, and he rushes over to her, touching her gently. Manji unleashes his powers, and just like that, all the students snap back to their usual selves. When my boy gets back to the academy, they start cleaning up the chaos from everything that just went down. He finds out that this whole mess happened because Manji is actually a dude. Turns out he's a man of culture, which just adds to the day's weirdness. Next up is Kimi, a shy girl who's really into manga. Cha-Cha-san hits it off with her since they're both manga nerds. Before long, they're dozing off in class and acting a bit sus. Haruko starts to think something weird is going on between them. But when they barge into a room, they catch Kimi, Cha-Cha, and Kodama all cuddled up together. Inaho and Haruko just freeze, while my boy and Usui stroll in and can't help but laugh. Cha-Cha explains they're just prepping for the upcoming Tenbi manga festival. All three girls are cosplaying, and the late nights are what's been wearing them out. Everyone jumps in to help out, including my boy, though he's super nervous about modeling. Naturally, he ends up posing barely without clothes with them for reference illustrations, and Kimi's drawing them in some pretty intimate positions. At one point, Haruko's undergarment starts to slip off. She freezes. Any wrong move will ruin the pose. Just when it looks like she's about to be exposed, Kimi says, "Done," and Haruko grabs her undies. The final illustration? Total chaos. Kimi tries to explain it, but nobody really gets it. In the days leading up to the festival, everyone's working hard and still dozing off in class. While they're all bathing together, the minions gossip about the event and get measured for their cosplay outfits. The night before the fest, Kimi makes thank you tokens, and Cha-Cha fine-tunes her costume. When festival day rolls around, the place is packed. There are cosplay witches everywhere, and Kimi's selling her manga. Haruko and Inaho are looking sharp, and Cha-Cha and Kimi are all set to go. Kimi's feeling nervous, but Cha-Cha reassures her. Then suddenly on stage, their cosplay outfits start shrinking, squeezing them in all the wrong ways. Then all hell breaks loose. Monsters from the manga start coming to life. Students are ripping the witches' clothes to fight better, and chaos hits. Kimi uses her illustration skills to help out while Usui tries to help, but ends up taking hits from Haruko. Kimi feels terrible seeing all this chaos. Then two jerks show up. They admit they wanted to see cosplayers suffer and live out a messed up manga fantasy. Cha-Cha and Kimi step up to confront them. Kimi starts using her art skills in the fight, while Cha-Cha throws punches. An epic showdown kicks off. The goons are summoning weapons straight from the manga pages, but with Kimi's support, Cha-Cha destroys them both. The monsters disappear, but Kimi's bummed that their hard work got wrecked. Cha-Cha cheers her up, though. The next day, they're back to posing, ready for whatever's next. My Boy and Usui drop by again, and like always, they get smashed for being total pervs. This time, it's about Dr. Aki. As a kid, she dreamed of marrying a handsome guy like her dad. Her mom used to tease her about her curves, claiming they'd only get bigger and she should use them to snag a husband. One day, her mom calls asking if she's dating anyone. Aki fibs, saying she's got a boyfriend and will take care of everything. The truth is, she's single and totally clueless about sending her mom a fake boyfriend pic. Out of nowhere, My Boy shows up, bleeding badly. Talk about perfect timing. Aki snaps a selfie with him to send to her mom and then cuddles him while wrapping his head in bandages, practically smothering him with her soft curves. When he comes to, he's confused. He remembers getting attacked but has no clue how he ended up in her place. As he tries to leave, he trips and falls onto Aki. Surprise, her mom planned a date night and handcuffed them together for some bonding time. Back at the academy, everyone notices Aki and My Boy are MIA. Rumors fly. Meanwhile, the two are stuck together, and when Aki needs to use the bathroom, My Boy ends up stuck there too. He does his best not to peek, but it's no easy task. Later in the lounge, he can't help but stare at her impressive curves. He even daydreams about being surrounded by them. When Aki cooks, he compliments her, saying she'd make an awesome wife. Before hitting the hay, he mentions it's been 2 days since his last shower. Aki suggests they bathe together, wearing barely anything. In the bath, My Boy has a hard time staying composed as they hop into a huge tub. Aki's curves brush against him, and she even playfully checks on him. He's sweating bullets and eventually passes out underwater. The next morning, he thinks it was all a dream, until he sees Aki still in that steamy outfit. They explore the island, hit the beach, and have a chill picnic. But then it starts pouring. Aki gets soaked and freaks out about the thunder, so My Boy hugs her tight to calm her down. Once the rain stops, Aki asks if she could be a good wife. My Boy assures her she definitely can. She's hot, sweet, and cooks like a champ. Just as they're about to kiss, Haruko and Kodama burst in. Aki and My Boy go flying into each other. The girls start grilling him. My Boy tries to explain that Aki's mom made him do it, but Aki casually admits they had a blast and even bathed together. He mentions being handcuffed, but of course, the cuffs are gone by now. The girls don't buy it. As usual, the episode ends with Haruko smashing My Boy for being a total perv. So, the student council president and her sidekick are on the lookout for first years to join the council. They quickly turn down My Buddy and Usui, and Inaho gets cut for being too childish. That leaves just one option, Uruchi. The next day, they tell her she's been picked, and off she goes to a special study camp. But here's the thing. Uruchi's got a not-so-secret crush. She's completely into Haruko. It all kicked off when Haruko gave her a massage, and Uruchi totally dug it. As they head to the camp, Uruchi's mind is all over the place with wild daydreams, like Haruko licking cream off her face and stuff. When she arrives at the camp, it feels a bit sketchy. She's greeted by the president's sidekick while standing on the edge of a cliff. Her first challenge? Jump off. So, lost in her thoughts about Haruko, she goes for it. But it doesn't go so well. Next, Uruchi finds herself on this rodeo machine and she's totally freaked out. But as soon as she thinks about Haruko, she hops on. The machine throws her around, and she's shaking like crazy. During the tougher training sessions, she can't stop imagining Haruko. It's like she's obsessed. One challenge even has her trying not to moan while a brush glides over her lower half. Another has her meditating, but all she can think about is Haruko. It's like she's lost in these wild fantasies. At night, the president checks out Uruchi's report and is surprised that she's managing to pass her trials, even if it's mostly because of her fixation. They're hoping she'll snap out of it. For the next step, Uruchi is told to secretly keep an eye on Haruko for a week, and she jumps at the chance. While spying, she watches Haruko make a puppet of my boy and feels a surge of jealousy. Then she sees Haruko having fun with him, and that just makes it worse. One day, she even sneaks a peek at Haruko while she's bathing and jots down every little detail in her notebook. Her obsession is intense. Uruchi decides to make her own Haruko puppet and messes around with it, acting kind of weird. She spends the week stalking, taking notes, and just being all in on this spy game. But when she sees Haruko playing with my boy's puppet again, it hits her hard. Haruko actually likes him. That realization stings. Gradually, her obsession starts to fade as she figures out that Haruko doesn't share her feelings. The next day, in front of the president, Uruchi comes clean. She admits her feelings were selfish and that she's not cut out for the role just yet. But the president praises her for recognizing her own flaws. That gives her a boost. She's told she still has potential to be part of the future student council, but the training isn't over. Now, she's heading back to camp for some personal training with the president. Kodama's out shopping for some new undergarments and ends up buying the whole set. While crossing the street, she spots this cute vintage German teddy bear and rushes into the shop. The owner sells it to her for a steal, and she names it Rudolph. Nope, it's not some Austrian painter isekai'd into a teddy. Later, when Kodama tries to get undressed, Rudolph keeps peeking at her. She moves him away, but he keeps popping back up, which really annoys her. Out of nowhere, Rudolph turns his head and talks, saying he's finally got a new master after 70 years, but he's not impressed with her being flat-chested. Kodama gets really mad, packs him up, and throws him on the balcony. But Rudolph comes back again. She calls over her puppet, Nuzuchi, and tells it to take care of him. After her bath, she walks in to find Rudolph and Nuzuchi getting all frisky. Kodama totally freaks out and is about to give them a talking to when her friends drop by, so she shoves Rudolph in the closet. Her friends bring groceries, but Rudolph jumps out in front of Inaho and Haruko. They think he's adorable and start cuddling him. Being the cheeky bear he is, Rudolph takes full advantage, snuggling right into their chests. Haruko even lets him explore a bit. Kodama snatches him back and locks him in a room. Rudolph then hatches a plan by jumping off the balcony and rolling in some dirt, hoping to get a bath with Inaho and Haruko. When Kodama tries to return him to the shop, the owner won't take him back. Turns out Rudolph's messed up her life too. He bounces on her chest like a crazy little thing. Kodama decides to keep him around. Rudolph opens up about his past. His master died in a war 70 years ago and he couldn't save her. But right after, he peeks at Kodama's undergarments and mocks her again. She gets mad and tries to punish him, but he dodges every single attack. Rudolph bolts and Kodama chases him. Along the way, he flirts with every girl he sees, making moves and getting handsy. He even gets his hands on Aki's impressive K-cup melons. What a lucky bear. Then, Kodama gets a call from Haruko. They're on the hunt for a suspect, and she jumps in. The culprit runs right into her, and she goes to fight, but her powers are all used up. The goon brings out a massive hammer and swings it at her. She barely dodges it. Just when things look bad, Rudolph shows up like a hero. He blocks the hammer and claims he's a vintage bear who absorbed some world-class power and is now golden. He messes with the goon and takes him down in a hilarious way. Exhausted afterwards, Rudolph collapses. Kodama rushes over as he fades away. He says he just wanted to be loved, and now he feels it. Some students walk in and see everything that happened. As Kodama cries, she admits that she might just be falling for him. The next day, as they all get ready for school, somehow Rudolph is still in Kodama's room. Turns out he faked his death. Now he's just chilling and silently watching all the naked girls. The principal walks down the hallway and overhears some students making fun of her, calling her old and saying she can't find a husband. This really ticks her off. To teach them a lesson, she decides to let a student take over as principal for a bit. Just then, Usui shows up to turn in an apology essay. The next day, my boy and the crew head to the academy. At the entrance, the guards say that every girl has to limbo under a bar to get in. Usui struts in, now dressed as the new principal, and claims it's his rule. Principal Minori officially steps down, making Usui the acting principal. The girls try to limbo, but their big chests keep hitting the bar. Haruko doesn't make it either. Then Kodama steps up, smashes the bar, and lets everyone in. In class, Usui gets Haruko to read aloud a super steamy passage about peeling a banana with white sauce dripping. In the next class, the girls measure their chest sizes by seeing how much water they displace. Then they whip up some tasty dishes and use their bodies as plates for plating practice. After that, they jump rope, and it's a sight to see with everything bouncing around. Then it moves on to some unusual close contact training, and Dr. Ecchi teaches writing in a rather unconventional manner. In another class, they check out white sauce under a microscope and find some weird tadpole-looking things. The lunch menu changes too, and now they're eating some bizarre stuff. On a field trip, they tour a factory that makes high-quality silicone products. They get some random gifts, but no one knows what they're for, so my boy snags a bunch anyway. Next up is body painting class. Usui decides to stick around, and even my boy gets in on the action. They all start drawing on each other while things get a little wild. The student council president joins the fun too, painting all over herself. In another class, students take turns saying naughty things out loud, and even the president gets pulled into it. After class, the girls are furious and storm down to find Usui, who's hiding in the basement. He yells at my boy, ranting about how the perfect academy he dreamed of is collapsing. The girls burst in, grabbing both Usui and my boy. Kodama steps up and challenges Usui to a duel for the principal position. She suggests they play strip, rock, paper, scissors, the same game Usui had thought of earlier. Kodama's super confident. Nobody has ever beaten her. They start playing, and one round after another, Usui keeps losing. Soon enough, he's just down to his undergarment, totally feeling the pressure from Kodama's fierce vibe. In the final round, he loses again and drops his last bit of clothing right in front of the whole school. As he's about to pass out from embarrassment, he looks at Kodama standing tall and just can't take it anymore. Azuka just had a wacky wedding with the president. Kind of. Let's rewind a bit to how this whole thing kicked off. Azuka was taking on some goons and ducked into a shelter from the rain where she bumped into the president. Her glasses fell off, and when she put them back on, she saw the president and got all flustered. The next day, she couldn't stop daydreaming about her, which made the other students raise their eyebrows. It turned out the president thought Azuka was a guy. So to cheer her up, the students suggested a date with Azuka. They gave her a manly makeover, and at first she was like, no way. But my boy and Usui convinced her to go for it. Then the president showed up in this super cute outfit, and Azuka couldn't help but call her adorable. They hit up an arcade, grabbed some spaghetti, and then accidentally walked into a wedding photo shoot. The photographer made them wear bride and groom outfits and asked them for a kiss. They hesitated, but then Azuka tripped while trying to leave, and boom, lips touched. Next thing you know, they're in bed together, but hold up, it's just a dream. Azuka wakes up freaking out, and the president is daydreaming about it too, all smiley. Later, Azuka asks to meet up, and the president thinks it's some love confession, but Azuka just says she should hang with her friends more. Then out of nowhere, goons show up. Their boss ropes the president, and Azuka jumps in to help but ends up surrounded and stripped naked. That's when the president totally loses it and zaps the goons with her Maken powers. My boy and the others show up, completely shocked that she handled it on her own. Azuka feels bad, but the president thanks her for showing her a cool dream. The next day, Azuka gets in trouble for fighting off campus. Cha-Cha-san has a wild idea, flings my boy at the president, and he ends up face first in her chest. He gets wrecked again for being a total perv. This is how the whole student council drama kicked off. Back in Minori's day, they were on the hunt for new members. They tried to get this guy Takayashi on board, but he was all about getting paid and didn't want to use any Maken. Basically, he was a dead end. So one day, the council was cleaning the pool when Ecchi showed up, flaunting her assets. Totally for recruitment, of course. Takayashi noticed some guys chatting about a goddess named Nohana, And one dude was claiming he got love letters from her, which made the other guy furious. Out of nowhere, a shot rang out, and one guy went down. Minori rushed over and they figured out the shooter was under hypnosis. Still, she asked the mysterious guy to join again. He turned her down again. Later, a locker popped open by itself, but the papers inside were just fakes. That night, the culprit tried to break into the principal's office, but the gang was ready for him. Outside, Takayashi found someone hiding in the bushes. It turned out to be Nohana, controlled by someone else. He tried to help, but it just ended in a brawl. Then, the real mastermind appeared, used shadows to trap everyone, and took complete control. She stripped down, grabbed her neck, and showed off how she was holding Nohana hostage. The student council girls showed up in wild outfits, trying to lure the goons into joining them. But things got serious real fast. The shadow user expanded her trap and caught everyone in it. Minori called for the Maken ring, and Takayashi tossed it to her. She put it on, and her power exploded. Minori unleashed a savage attack that obliterated the shadow culprit. Clothes went tiered, and there was no holding back. The fight wrapped up quickly, and the gang made it out okay, but the culprit was done for. Meanwhile, my boy and Usui were just daydreaming about what Ecchi looked like back in her glory days. And that's how the crazy backstory of the student council went down. They saved the academy, but they always leave a mess in their wake. You just watched a dude survive nosebleeds, psychic pervs, and a teddy bear with a melon addiction. If that doesn't deserve a subscribe, I don't know what does. Hit that button before another panty thief steals your algorithm.